Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. I want to do a short video, or really series of short videos talking about Wargaming storage options. This is a problem I've been wrestling with quite a bit lately, in part because I get to sit around and fool around with these games more than I get to actually play them, but in part because space is also a premium. I would like to be able to store my stuff on my shelves, and I would like, ideally, for every game that I have to fit into its actual own box, because it looks nicer on the shelf that way. Now, there are games for which that is simply not possible. The obvious example that I have some stuff for that I don't have to show you right now is Advanced Squad Leader. There's simply no box for Advanced Squad Leader. There's a web page, however, dedicated to ASL storage stuff, and the ASL folks have come up with some pretty novel solutions for storing ASL. But the quantity of product is simply too large. There's too many counters. I'd estimate there's something upwards of 15,000 counters floating around. Somebody that's got not only all of that, but even a significant percentage of the official ASL modules is just not going to have any way to store that stuff in a reasonable way where you can actually find stuff during the game. There's different considerations that you face with different types of games. Some games you want to organize them so setup is easier. Some games you want to organize them so that finding counters during play is easier. The game I'm going to talk specifically about today is Space Empires 4X. Somebody asked me to talk about this on Board Game Geek, and I had already thought about doing sort of a expanded 15-minute scripted video with Wargaming storage, and where I give a bunch of different examples, and I decided against that. So specifically, I'm going to start with Space Empires 4X. I may do a couple more of these in the future of similar length, just to talk about how I'm approaching storing those. Like I said, I like to store the game in the original box where possible. Now, Space Empires 4X in particular has an expansion. I don't own it. I'm not going to buy it until such time as I've played Space Empires 4X. It looks good. I'm pretty comfortable saying I'm going to like this game. So it's not that. It's just that I don't want to spend money on it until I have an established record of playing Space Empires 4X, because I've got enough stuff that I don't get to play enough already. So this is from GMT, and it's in a standard GMT, I guess, 2-inch box. Now the trouble with this size box, from GMT in particular, is that when the game comes with a mounted map, as Space Empires 4X does, you can see that it takes up roughly half the height of the box depth. So, and in this case in particular, it's kind of a weird size. So, and it's not a uniform size. I mean, some GMT mounted maps are like the same size as the box interior. This one's not, but it's not the same size as the mounted board in Commands and Colors Napoleonics, for example. So, a solution for this, you'd have to figure out something else for Commands and Colors Napoleonics. So I'm going to open this empty box and put it all together and show you how I store this particular game. Now, in the case of, well, let's get the board in the box first. So obviously this is going to go in the box. Now, there are a set of exploration markers. These are the deep space exploration markers that go in sort of the neutral area in the middle of the board. So what I do is I got these in a baggie. This is some kind of fancy baggie, but like regular old sandwich or snack baggie would do just fine. These number chits are also used communally by all the players, and these go under your starships to tell you how many cruisers or whatever you have there. Now we have also, with most games, including this one, some rules and charts. I do have an unboxing video of this game if you'd like to see the details of what the components look like, but in this case we'll just say that there's roughly 3/8 of an inch of paper in here. So we have to find a solution for that. Oh, wait, almost forgot. We have dice. I think this game came with 4 dice. I redid the dice because I wanted one in each color because I'm a dork. So, and then for the individual player unit sets, I wanted each player, there's a certain fog of war element to this game, so I wanted each player to have their own tray of chits where they could find everything that they need, and yet an opponent couldn't just look at it and see, well, he's got all his carriers lined up out there, and he's only got one left, so I know he's got 3 of them on the table, for example. It's not really possible to do that, and then I can just hand this guy his red chit tray, for example. So we can put these in here for each of the 4 players. The expansion does have stuff for a 5th player, and then I've got a 5th one for various markers, for colony markers and alien ships and that kind of stuff. So we're real close, right? Nope, there's more. So each home area for each player has a color-coded pack of exploration markers for that area. We don't want to mix these all together with the other ones. You want them segregated out so that when you set the game up, you can just say, here, blue guy, here's your blue markers. Just turn these face down and put them in your blue area. So I've had to put these in these little tiny baggies. Now, these are GMT's actual baggies. So despite complaining about getting GMT baggies that I don't use, I do use them here and there. So if I stack these very carefully, I can get all of the components in Space Empires 4X in the Space Empires 4X box with, I would say, a 1/16 of an inch of bulge there, I think, something like that. So I'm pretty happy with the storage solution that I've come up with for this. Now, let me pull this open again and talk about these trays. Because somebody's going to ask, well, where do you get these trays? These look very handy. I buy these from the Container Store, and I think these particular ones run up something like $1.50 a piece. They come in a variety of sizes. They're all like hinged, and they have a latch of some kind. They're not all like this type of latch. There are a couple different styles in this size where you can either have one huge compartment or 4 compartments like this, or these that I usually get are the 8 compartment ones. But they also come in larger sizes. So for example, here is let me put this back together so you can actually see the stuff I'm going to show you a little bit better. This is a deeper, and with a totally different latch, 10 compartment box. I've got a pile of these. I'm not 100% sure I've actually used this particular configuration in a game yet. Maybe I have, but I'm not sure that I have. They also come in this size, which has 18 compartments. I used this size for Panzer Grenadier specifically. It's another one of these sort of big games with a lot of modules and a lot of components and counters that you can't really get into its original boxes and keep it well organized at the same time. So I use these for Panzer Grenadier, and I think, for example, I have like 2 of these of Germans, and like maybe 1 of Soviets and 1 of Americans. But then again, the Germans are the bad guys in all of the modules I have, so there's that. They also come in this Supermondo size, which I think is 32 compartments. And this size is the biggest one they have. I think these are $5, $4.99 or something like that. I don't buy these very often. I use these for Advanced Squad Leader. So, for example, I have my Advanced Squad Leader Germans in 2 of these. And I have, unlike for Panzer Grenadier, I have all of the ASL Germans that haven't been in specific historical modules. And you'll notice that this particular size container does fit in a standard GMT box, at least spatially in these directions. Depth-wise, that's a different story. So in the next video like this, I'll show you a different example and why that solution didn't work. Now, the other nice thing I like about these in particular is they're sort of a not quite transparent, translucent plastic, but it's a little bit softer plastic, so they won't shatter. These will not shatter. I suspect that they will yellow with age. I haven't had any of them long enough for that to happen. And I like the fact that the latches are redundant, because there's nothing that makes me fly into a rage more than doing one of these and counters go catapulting across the room because the tray was open. So, which has happened, and that's not cool. So hopefully this has been useful. I hope that you'll tune in for whenever the next video in this series gets made, because I will talk about some different options, eventually including Advanced Squad Leader and some other types of games where this game just doesn't fit in the box. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.